Discover the hidden truth. How one heartfelt moment transformed my husband's disgust into love. Sarah stared at her husband, Mark, his gaze distant as he stared out the window, his once vibrant spirit fraying at the edges. The walls of their small home felt like they were closing in on her, each breath tinged with the heavy weight of unspoken words that lingered between them. How had they spiraled into this chasm of bitterness and silence, while the world outside continued its relentless march toward a new day? Every 12-hour shift she worked at the hospital felt like a futile effort to salvage her family, but with each passing minute, she sensed the threads of their relationship slipping further away. Mark had been the dreamer, the confident man with plans for their future. It had never crossed her mind that he might one day feel trapped and resentful. Instead of pursuing passion projects, he now drifted through the house like a ghost, weighed down by layers of disappointment. Sarah shifted, tightening her grip on the worn, yellowed journal she had discovered in her grandmother's old trunk. She could almost hear her grandmother's voice, laced with encouragement and love as she turned the pages. It spoke of resilience and hope, reminders of a family forged in the fires of struggle but bound by an unbreakable love. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. She was desperate for something, anything to breach the unyielding silence. That night, she cooked a feast reminiscent of family gatherings from her past. The sizzling roasted chicken filled the air with inviting aromas, and the comforting scent of buttery mashed potatoes swirled around her heart like a warm embrace. She set the table, hoping the nostalgic setting would bridge their growing emotional gap. As they sat down, Sarah turned the journal toward Mark, nervously sharing snippets of her grandmother's life, a single mother who weathered countless storms, yet always made time for family dinners filled with laughter and stories. She watched him, searching his shadowed eyes for a glimmer of recognition, of connection. But as she spoke, the weight of unarticulated frustrations hung over them like a black cloud ready to burst. "Mark," she urged softly, breaking through the tension. "What do you feel?" The air thickened. His jaw tightened, and she braced herself for the possibility of his anger. The silence stretched painfully, punctuated only by the sound of their children playing in the other room, blissfully unaware of the turmoil brewing just out of reach. Mark finally spoke, but the words were jagged, choking on insecurity after too long in the dark. "I'm just lost." Those two words echoed in her heart, unleashing a cascade of emotions within Sarah. She felt both sad and relieved, for at least they were no longer alone in the fog of silence. Yet with that revelation, a gaping chasm of longing and fear yawned wide between them, of fear for what this could mean for their love. Would they mend the brokenness, or would the very opportunity to find solace in one another lead to bittersweet endings? Just as Sarah began believing that vulnerability might stitch them back together, Mark's phone buzzed, reverberating through their fragile moments of connection. The jarring sound shattered the fragile space. They had just begun to share a call about a job offer far from home. A flicker of light ignited in Mark's eyes, yet it danced dangerously close to the lingering shadows of their despair. As uncertainty gnawed at Sarah's heart, she wondered, could this be the spark they needed, or merely another catalyst for their unraveling? The tension in the room shifted, heavy with the scent of roasted chicken and the weight of unspoken decisions. Mark's eyes danced with possibility, but Sarah's heart remained anchored by the gravity of his shifting dreams. What had once felt like a second chance now drifted on the edge of chaos. She noticed how he was torn, the flicker of hope eclipsed by the roots of doubt. Sarah leaned back in her chair, letting the warmth of the room envelop her. She knew well that the world outside continued to rush forward, indifferent to their struggle. "What do you want, Mark?" she ventured, seeking a path through the tangled emotions that ensnared them both. "I don't know," he admitted, brows furrowing in frustration as he reached for his phone, holding it as though it were the elusive answer they both sought. A job, maybe something to feel alive again. Her stomach churned. The idea of him taking that position so far away twisted her insides. He yearned for purpose, while she fought to hold the fragile pieces of their life together. But what about us? What about the things we built, the family, this life? For the first time in ages, her voice rang clear, tinged with a desperate urgency that somehow felt liberating. Mark held her gaze, but couldn't he offer her the assurance she craved? He looked more like a lost child than the husband who had once promised he'd always choose her. Each moment stretched as Sarah tasted the salt of unshed tears, feeling them prick at the corner of her eyes. And that uncomfortable silence, Sarah felt an unsettling shift. The journal lay open on the table, a window into resilience and hope, and it sparked a flame of determination within her. She realized the power of vulnerability was not just in their conversation. It also lay in her own capacity for change. Leaning forward, she picked up the journal, letting the pages sift through her fingers. "This was my grandmother's," she shared, her voice steadier now. She faced her own challenges, yet she found a way to rebuild, even when it seemed impossible. Mark took a breath, finally searching her eyes with an intensity that made her pulse quicken. What did she do? She embraced the unknown. She didn't wait for someone else to validate her worth or her dreams. She settled into her discomfort and chose to act. "Do you think I should take the job?" The question filtered between them like the scent of the dinner. "If you want to, I can get behind that. But don't do it to escape," she warned, aware of the precarious balance between building a future and abandoning the past. "You need to find your light again, but I need you to know that escaping won't lead you back to me." The unsteady ground they were navigating suddenly felt alive with uncharted potential. The bated breaths of their children drifted into the moment, intertwining with the delicate thread of their discussion. Could she convince him to see there was strength in choosing to stay, to engage despite the pain? Mark turned his gaze to the window, contemplating the call that tingled persistently in his pocket. His silence spoke volumes. Conflict danced behind his reluctant gaze. He was grappling not just with the job offer, but with the deeper question of identity. Coda said I could reinvent my career, make something of myself. His words were laden with the weight of unfulfilled ambitions, yet a hint of a ripple sparked in Sarah. Then why can't we reinvent together? The question hung in the air, shimmering with possibilities. Sarah felt something shift within her, a determination to embrace their journey forward, not just as a reluctant caretaker of their family as home, but as an active architect of their future. As Mark's eyes met hers, something colossal began to stir. But just as she felt the glimmer of hope take root, his phone buzzed again. A different call, a different life beckoning for his attention. "Can we promise to talk about this more?" he asked, standing awkwardly at the threshold of uncertainty. "Only if we can promise to listen to one another." But as he reached for the phone, Sarah felt the world around them shift once more, and the question loomed larger than ever. Could they rewrite their story before it spiraled into doubt again? Sarah's heart raced, sensing that the landscape of their lives was shifting. Their next conversation would determine if they could face the fear together, or if their individual quests would fracture them further apart. As Sarah watched Mark navigate the choice before him, a swell of conflicting emotions surged within her. Hope, frustration, love, and fear collided amidst the comforting scent of roasted chicken, igniting her own resolve. She was no longer merely an observer in their relationship. She was an active participant, intent on bridging the chasm that had formed in their lives. Mark's face contorted with hesitation as he continued to study the phone. It was an unnerving sight, reminding her of the boy she had first fallen in love with, standing on the precipice of adulthood with so much potential. Yet, now he faced an uncertain future, not just professionally, but personally as well. How could she help him realize the depths of their bond when he remained so trapped within himself? "Mark," she said suddenly, her tone firming, "if you take this job, it can't simply be about running away. It has to start from you discovering what makes you truly happy. We need to figure out what that means for us, together. Otherwise, there one T be anything left for either of us? He turned back to her, vulnerability written on his features. I want to be happy, but I don't think I even know how anymore. The admission struck her like a physical blow. It was staggering to see the weight of despair reflected in his eyes, and she felt a sinking sensation as the reality of their situation unfolded before her. Then let us explore that together, she urged, her heart thumping with purpose. What if we tore down our old expectations? What do you see when you imagine your ideal life? He frowned, training his gaze on the journal resting on the table. I've always envisioned doing something impactful, something that matters, but it feels so far away. She felt a stirring of familiarity with his quandary. Her own dreams had been buried under layers of responsibility and the relentless pace of life as demands. You still can, she reassured him, her conviction strengthening. But we need to be honest about what we really want. Think about what brings you joy, what lights a fire inside you. I've spent too much time doubting myself, and maybe you have too. A subtle shift began in Mark. The tension in his shoulders eased, even if just a smidge. But what if I can't find joy in that job? What if it just isn't me? Then we adjust. Together, she said, leaning forward. You're not alone in this. We can redefine what fulfillment means. It doesn't have to be a straight path. The prospect was exhilarating, but daunting. He faced the harsh truth that their lives had grown entangled with compromises and fear, and now they were being challenged to sought new definitions of happiness. Mark's phone buzzed, an urgent reminder of his current reality, a lifeline to a life he questioned, but had not fully abandoned. With hesitancy, he set it down. What if it fails? Failures are lessons, not the end, Sarah replied, feeling empowered by her own words. Every setback could teach us something valuable about ourselves. Why not treat this as a chapter, not a conclusion? A flicker of uncertainty crossed his face, then something deeper resolve. I want to trust that idea, he murmured. But I also want to make it count for us. Then let us make a plan to discover what that means to both of us professionally and personally, she replied. No more escaping, only exploration. As they fell into a rhythm of brainstorming, merging their ideas and dreams, Sarah felt a warmth radiate from within. For the first time in ages, she sensed a pulse of shared ambition between them. This conversation was no longer about just Mark's decisions. It was a chance for them both to evolve. But as the minutes slipped by, the stillness around them heightened, a tension looming like storm clouds on the horizon. The risk of making those dreams tangible now rested in their hands. Just when Sarah felt momentum swell, a sobering thought gripped her. Was she also ready to expose her own hesitations, the very fears she had hoarded behind the facade she wore so well? That unease mingled with newfound hope, propelling her thoughts onward. They were both standing at the brink. What would they unveil about each other and themselves in the moments to come? As Sarah extended her hand to reach for Marcus, ready to dive deeper into this new territory, she realized the true challenge wasn't just overcoming their fear of failure. Instead, it would involve fully unveiling their true selves and facing the vulnerability they had both long avoided. It was time to confront those shadows that had lingered for far too long. The question loomed ever larger in her mind. If they could unearth their authentic selves amidst the chaos, could they forge an unbreakable bond, or would fear pull them apart once more? As Sarah's fingers brushed against Marcus, a spark of energy coursed through her, igniting the fragile space between them with possibility. The warmth of the moment carried the weight of their unspoken anxieties, and in this silence, she found a clarity she hadn't expected. They stood at a crossroads, but this wasn't solely about Marcus' job. This was about a mutual evolution that dared to challenge the status quo of their lives. Let us focus on what matters most, our shared dream, she proposed, her heart racing. What do you want from us moving forward? Mark hesitated, a look of deep contemplation shadowing his features. It was palpable that the question unsettled him. I guess I've just been focusing on what everyone else expects. On what is practical, he admitted slowly. But I want to be more than that. I want to feel alive again. That flicker of determination caught Sarah's attention. His words struck a chord in her, held their intertwined lives up to a mirror. She had been so consumed with maintaining stability, she'd pushed her own aspirations far into the background. "We both deserve to cultivate our passions," she said, softly challenging him. Mark's gaze darkened with a hint of defiance. "Passions cost time and energy. What if we fail to leave a meaningful mark? What if we're simply chasing foolish whims?" His skepticism wrapped its arms around her heart, but Sarah sensed an underlying hope. She realized their exchanges had shifted from avoidance to confrontation of their fears. What if failure is simply a step towards something greater? Think about it, your ideal life won't happen inside a box. We have to be daring enough to break free from expectations. The room felt charged. Mark leaned back in his chair, his brows knitted together in concentration. She could almost see the wheels turning behind his eyes. This was more than just a conversation about careers. It peeled back layers, revealing their fear of inadequacy. Their mutual vulnerability hovered thick in the air, a connective thread leading them toward clarity. "Okay," he said, his tone firmer now. "Let us imagine our dreams together. What would that look like?" As he asked the question, something clicked for Sarah. "It means exploring our talents without guilt. I am ready to dive into my own uncertainties." The realization settled within her like a weight lifting. Here they were, two lost souls yearning for direction, but bolstered by the courage to uncover what lay beneath. Mark's skepticism softened. "What about that art workshop you used to rave about? You loved it, right?" "Right." She nodded, adrenaline rushing through her. "But I haven't painted in ages. I thought it was an impractical hobby. Why can't it be a stepping stone? I can see your face lighting up whenever you talk about it. It matters." He leaned closer, a newfound intensity igniting his expression. "What would it take for you to get back into it?" She felt an avalanche of emotions, a cocktail of excitement and fear. Art had always been a sanctuary for her, a refuge from the mundane. Yet, she had buried that part out of practical obligation. I guess I could begin with a weekend class."
"No expectations.
Just something to enjoy." "Exactly," Mark urged, his voice now a soft timbre of encouragement. "It might be scary, but we'll embark on this journey together. We need to carve out spaces where both our aspirations coexist." The idea began to blossom, opening doors within her mind that had long been shut. This wasn't just about facing their individual fears. This was about cultivating dreams in tandem. As the air thickened with ambition, doubt momentarily fled the scene. "And for you?" Sarah asked, feeling emboldened. "How about those community projects you always envisioned?" "I've been too afraid. Not enough experience, not enough time. But I do want to contribute something meaningful." "You have all the potential to inspire others," she insisted. "Imagine how fulfilling that would be." A smile broke through the tension on Mark's face, illuminating his features. Yet, as familiar warmth dashed through her, an undercurrent of fear settled in again. What if confronting their dreams led them deeper into uncharted territory? The honesty in their words was both liberating and terrifying. Standing at this precipice of transformation, she realized they had peeled back layers of each other as fears. But could they maintain this momentum? The real test lay ahead, in the inevitable moments of doubt that would tap on their shoulders. Would they be able to uphold this newfound commitment to self-discovery? As they sat there, hands still linked, Sarah's heart raced. Could they forge a future dictated by their true desires, facing whatever shadows emerged along the way? Together, they would have to confront the fears embedded within their ambitions, but the question of potential success loomed larger than ever. What would they discover about themselves on this path? Would they emerge as the people they longed to be, or would the weight of hesitation prove too heavy to bear? The following morning came with a sense of vibrant anticipation that felt foreign to Sarah. Her art supplies had lain dormant for far too long, each brush and canvas a reminder of what she had neglected. Yet now, with Mark's encouragement echoing in her mind, she grasped the idea of reclaiming her passion like a lifeline. After a quick breakfast, she caught her reflection in the hallway mirror. The woman staring back seemed different, eyes brighter, posture more assured. It was as if the act of acknowledging her desire had awakened a dormant part of her. However, the dual nature of this excitement entwined itself with anxiety. What if this path led her nowhere? With a deep breath, Sarah made her way to the local art studio, a quaint place adorned with canvases that promised creativity. Each step felt like a rebellious act against the stability she deconstructed. The mingling sense of paint and varnish stirred something within her, a reminder of the child who would lose hours lost in strokes of color. Inside, the instructor, an older woman named Elaine, welcomed her with warmth. Watching her move effortlessly through her demonstration, Sarah felt a pang of inadequacy flicker momentarily. The fear of being less than gripped her. Did she truly belong in this enchanting world of talent and expression, particularly when she hadn't picked up a brush in years? But Elaine's encouragement broke through her reservations. "It's about exploration, not perfection," she said, her voice imbued with passion. "Art doesn't need to be defined, it simply needs to be felt. Your only task is to embrace the process." As the class progressed, Sarah found herself immersed in the liberating act of creation. Each stroke released remnants of her self-doubt, and with every color, she painted fragments of herself that had long been hidden. She sensed Mark's presence echoing through her spirit. Later, when she returned home, a flood of energy surged through her. She entered the small makeshift art area she'd crafted in their apartment, transformed by the vibrant hues that adorned her canvas. It was both thrilling and terrifying to step back and assess what she had created. Was it truly worthy? Yet she felt accomplished for having allowed herself the freedom to express. Mark, an unexpected ray of support, stepped into the room. His gaze flickered from the vibrant painting to Sarah's exhilarated countenance. "You did this? It's incredible." The sincerity in his voice made her heart swell. "Thank you. I needed to reconnect with something I loved." Her voice trembled slightly as she wrestled with a mix of pride and fear of vulnerability. "I could see how alive you looked doing it," Mark mused, stepping closer. He paused, a moment of reflection washing over him. "It made me realize how much I've pushed my own dreams aside, too." They both stood in that space filled with uncharted potential, a canvas of possibilities stretched before them. But at that moment, a shadow flickered at the edge of Sarah's mind. How would they support each other when challenges inevitably arose? "You know, I've been thinking," she began, struggling to articulate the trepidation that lay ahead. "If we're truly going to pursue our individual passions, we need to make sure we're both committed to not just the idea, but the process. What if things get tough?" Mark inhaled sharply, a seriousness settling over his features. "The fear of failure is daunting, I get that. But I think we can use it as a catalyst. If we face those fears together, we just might push through." This moment became a turning point, an invitation to a deeper conversation about mutual growth. Sarah sensed the shift in Mark. He was contemplating his next step, spurred by her rediscovered determination. But beneath the hope, a gnawing question remained. Would their journey truly lead them to uncover their individual skills, or would it unveil deeper insecurities? As they sat amidst the swirl of emotions, Sarah felt the tension mount, a mixture of excitement and uncertainty. Would they emerge stronger together, or would the exploration of each other's dreams reveal rifts that couldn't be bridged? The uncertainty loomed larger than life, waiting just beyond the horizon. A sudden phone rang, jolting them from their reverie. It was a call from Mark's old mentor, someone who held the keys to his unspoken dreams. How would this conversation influence their evolving dynamic? Mark answered the phone with palpable nervousness, his thumb nervously tapping the edge of his jittery fingers against the receiver. Sarah could see the storm of thoughts brewing behind his eyes. Plans, aspirations, and the haunting specter of doubt weaved together, creating friction in the air. As he spoke, his voice was steady enough, but she noticed the flicker of apprehension in his brow. "Hey, Mr. Davis. It's good to hear from you," Mark said, his tone shifting to enthusiastic warmth that felt almost rehearsed. She could only catch fragments of the conversation, talk of old projects, missed opportunities, and words that dangled in the space between hopes and reality. Each word hinted at layers of dreams previously stifled, and as Mark's laughter filled the room, she felt waves of both pride and fear chip away at her resolve. After what seemed like an eternity, Mark hung up the phone, his face a blend of excitement and trepidation. He wants to meet up this weekend to discuss some ideas. He's got a vision for a collaborative project he thinks I'd be perfect for. The weight of his words settled over Sarah. While she wanted to share in his joy, she couldn't help but wonder if this meant a deeper commitment to an uncertain path that would pull Mark further into his own world, leaving her trailing behind with her own artistic struggles. Would his newfound passion eclipse her own resurgence, or could they navigate this journey side by side? That sounds amazing. I mean, if you're feeling up to it, she replied, searching his face for deeper reactions. I could really use the opportunity, but I'm scared, Sarah, he confessed, his voice cracking slightly. What if I mess it up? What if everyone sees through my facade and realizes I have no idea what I'm doing? His honesty struck a chord within her. The vulnerability they both acknowledged created an unexpected intimacy, a bridge over the ambiguous landscape of their aspirations. Mark, it's okay to feel that way. You're not alone in this. I'm scared too, you know? But maybe this is the push we both need. I really want us to support each other, to grow. But what if we end up tied to one another's failures instead? His eyes searched hers in desperation. The notion hit Sarah like a jolt. What if they did? What if the burdens of their individual performances shaped their relationship into something neither had anticipated? Maybe we can create a space where we each take ownership of our frustrations. We can celebrate each other as victories, and we can lean on each other during setbacks. Yes, he said, his posture relaxing just slightly. Yet shadows danced behind his eyes, suggesting that he remained uncertain. But what if the fear takes hold, and we end up drifting apart? Sarah felt a wave of determination rise up within her, spurred by the intimate connection they were forging. We have to promise not to let fear be the driver of our decisions. If we give in to what scares us, we grow as individuals or together. Mark nodded, the sincerity in his gaze both apologetic and resolute. Let us not just chase shadows. I want to be present. I want to flourish. They stood in that moment, suspended between hopes and hesitations, both recognizing the risk ahead of them. As they left the room to settle into a quiet evening, Sarah's mind raced with questions. Could they really navigate this newfound territory together, or would the journey reveal unexpected rifts beyond the surface? The next few days loomed ahead, filled with uncertainty and potential. Would they be able to master the balancing act of their passions while nurturing their relationship? Neither of them could predict the outcome, but a gnawing anticipation settled in Sarah's gut, urging her forward. Late that night, while searching for inspiration, she stumbled upon an old sketchbook tucked away on a shelf. Its contents jolted her with memories, each page crackled with dreams she had once held dear and forgotten. What hidden gems of creativity lay buried within those pages? As she flipped through the sketches, a particular drawing caught her eye. It was a swirling mess of colors, representing a conflict she had long buried deep within. It stirred a sense of urgency. What would it mean for their journey if she embraced that conflict? With the echo of Mark's aspirations rallying behind her, the question hung tantalizingly before her: could she find resolve amidst chaos? And would that lead to the deeper connection they both craved? The pages held answers she yearned to uncover, yet the implications of her discoveries were fraught with potential upheaval. Would this journey lead to profound enlightenment, or would it unearth more fears than hopes? What awaited her in the tangled threads of her dreams? As the first rays of morning light filtered through the curtains, Sarah sat cross-legged on the floor, her old sketchbook propped open before her. The swirling colors beckoned, whispering stories of frustration and longing. She felt a strange mix of exhilaration and apprehension as memories flooded back. Each page seemed to pulse with unfulfilled potential. In that moment, she faced an internal crossroads: to embrace the chaos within her or continue to ignore it. Her fingers traced the edges of a particular sketch, a wild depiction of twisting vines and bold petals. It mirrored her tangled emotions surrounding her journey as an artist, and it struck her. She had hidden this part of herself for too long. The fear of failure had muted her voice, yet each once vibrant line now felt like uncried tears. Could this sketch lead her to rediscover an artistic authenticity she once possessed? Doubt loomed heavily as she contemplated unveiling her artistic struggles to Mark. Would he understand how deeply this conflict ran? Would sharing her vulnerabilities deepen their connection, or simply detach them more? The overwhelming fear of rejection urged her to shield her passions instead of confronting them. But was half a life worth living when the fullness of her identity lay dormant? Determined, she stood up and headed to the living room. Mark fidgeted by the window, staring out as if seeking answers from the world beyond. His mind clearly wrestled with its own labyrinth of fear. She sensed a palpable tension in the air. His professional aspirations mirrored her quest for artistic validation. "Mark, can we talk?" Her voice resonated with unexpected strength, drawing his attention. As he turned to face her, she noticed the flicker of hope in his eyes. It ignited her courage further. "I want to share something with you. I found an old sketchbook last night," she started cautiously. "And in it I saw so many of my own fears mirrored back at me. I realized that I've been holding back art that represents not just joy, but also the chaos I've avoided." He shifted closer, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. "What do you mean?" There was no turning back. Her resolve was stronger than the trepidation creeping in. "I think I've paved my artistic path with fear of failure, of judgment. I'm scared you'll see me differently if I reveal this side of me. But more than that, I'm scared of losing the connection we have." His brow furrowed as if he was sifting through layered emotions. "You mean like our fears are linked?"
Exactly.
"We can't flourish if we only shy away from what is uncomfortable. It's like painting over a canvas without embracing the original strokes beneath. What if we faced our conflicts together?" He studied her intently, and for a moment, silence filled the room, the air thick with unspoken words. Sarah wondered, had she pushed too far or simply revealed the only path forward? Her heart raced with anticipation. "I admire your courage, Sarah," he finally said, his voice softening. "What if we allowed ourselves to explore those conflicts, not just for our art or work, but for each other too? Maybe it's an opportunity to redefine how we grow together." A wave of relief washed over her, joined by a fresh wave of fear, one that signified the commitment they both needed to undertake. The risk of vulnerability had shifted from sheer dread to budding excitement, igniting an unseen potential they could cultivate together. Yet, beneath that hopeful surge lay the haunting question: would they truly be able to withstand the exploration of their darkest corners without losing each other in the process? With that, Sarah felt a new chapter unfolding, filled with uncertainty, but also illuminated by the possibility of self-discovery and relationship growth. Resting her hand on the pages of her sketchbook, she voiced the question echoing in her mind: what lies in the shadows we choose not to face? And are we ready to confront them? As the words left her mouth, it struck her a deeper revelation awaited them both, one that could either forge a stronger bond or unravel the very fabric of their relationship. What lay ahead would require more than bravery. It would demand an unwavering commitment to honesty and vulnerability, both in themselves and with each other. Taking a deep breath, Sarah also realized this was just the beginning. Would the shadowed corners of their fears illuminate their path forward, or navigate them into deeper complexities? The journey ahead shimmered with uncertainty, and as she locked her gaze with Marcus, she sensed they were about to step into territory neither of them could have anticipated. The quiet lingered in the living room as Sarah's heartbeat matched the weight settling over them. The shadows of uncertainty hung heavy, yet something sparked in Mark's eyes. She could feel the energy between them bending, reshaping into a conduit for shared truths waiting to be harvested. With each passing second, it became clear that they were standing at the precipice of a transformation, their hidden fears raw and exposed as potential catalysts for change. "Let us start somewhere," he said, his voice steady despite the vulnerability that drifted along his words. "What does fear look like for you?" The question struck her like lightning. Her instinct was to frame a response that glossed over how deeply it affected her, but the moment called for authenticity. "Fear feels like a brick wall," she began, swallowing down the rising tremor. "I see it as a barrier separating the artist I am from the one I wish to be. It's this constant doubt that if I open that wall even a crack, everything inside might spill out, chaotic and ugly." Mark nodded, his brow furrowing, contemplating her words. "So, it's less about the art itself and more about the fear of not being accepted for who you really are?" "Exactly," she affirmed, a sigh escaping her lips like air released from a balloon. "And it's not just about art. What if, after all this, you see me differently? What if I'm too messy for you to embrace?" His eyes softened. "But, vulnerability can also create a deeper connection. Think about it. What if you allowed yourself to be an imperfect artist? What if I saw the chaotic, authentic you, rather than the facade?" Something flickered to life in her chest, a burgeoning sensation of empowerment. Mark's words, saturated with understanding, began to replace the dread she held. This was the beauty in confronting shadows, she realized. Perhaps their fears weren't obstacles, but rather bridges to understanding and acceptance. "The thought of dropping my guard is terrifying," she admitted, reflecting on her intrinsic need for approval, a longing that had consumed her for too long. Yet, she knew now there was an uncharted freedom in showcasing her imperfections and awkwardness. "What about you, Mark? What's behind your wall?" He hesitated, a flicker of concern crossing his face. "My fear, it feels like being stuck in a job I'm not passionate about. I hide behind professionalism while drowning under the weight of expectation, both from work and myself. What if I take the leap and fail? What if I disappoint those who believe in me?" Sarah interlaced her fingers, feeling solidarity surge between them. It echoed the same desperation she discovered within her. "So, your shadows are tied to your career ambitions," she surmised. "Maybe it's a chance for us to take rooted steps together, being honest about what we want and why we fear the shift. I'd like that. Maybe if we face these together, we won't allow our fears to define us or our relationship," he replied, a hint of determination illuminating his features. Her mind raced with the thought of what this meant, the possibility of shedding the weight they'd both carried silently. The notion of taking bold risks resonated, despite the tremors of uncertainty. They'd move forward not only as individuals, but as a partnership forged in empathy and understanding. "What lies ahead?" she mused softly, already aware that stepping into this path would demand commitment. Each layer they peeled back would likely expose old wounds and unresolved conflicts. But the idea also ignited a flicker of hope that there was endless potential for growth. Mark's hand found hers, fingers interlocking tightly. "I believe we can illuminate what's hidden. It may hurt, but sharing these struggles could finally set us free, not just individually, but together." What they were about to embark on was more than just emotional cleansing. It was an expedition into uncharted territory. The promises and perils entwined tightly now, leaving Sarah with a feeling of exhilaration that hadn't existed moments before. "I want to document this journey," she said suddenly, driven by intuition. "For art. For us." Ideas tumbled in her mind like an artist exploding onto canvas full of life, color, and possibility. But the biggest question loomed: was she truly ready to capture every truth, even the painful ones? As she looked into Mark's earnest eyes, the tension mounted. Would this leap of faith affirm their connection or fracture the veneer of their relationship? Sarah's heartbeat quickened as she contemplated the artistic endeavor she just proposed. The weight of her ambition felt both thrilling and overwhelming. Documenting their emotional journey would require not just creativity, but also a stark honesty and authentic representation of their truths. Could she truly extract every nuance, even the haunting shadows it might unveil? Mark's expression shifted, curiosity flickering into his gaze. "You mean create something together? Track how we confront our fears?" He leaned forward, the earlier weight of uncertainty morphing into a collaborative spark. "That could be enlightening." "You'd be part of this too," she affirmed, a thread of determination weaving through her voice. The idea was settling within her, shaping her vision into a tangible goal. As an artist, Sarah often grappled with the fine line between sharing her vulnerabilities and preserving her self-image. This project could redefine that boundary, transforming her fears into a conduit for deeper connection, not just with Mark but within herself. It wouldn't just be a canvas. It would represent a journey, a marker of their transformation, and, in part, a demonstration of her growth as an artist. But how would she articulate their emotional terrain as they navigated the peaks and valleys of vulnerability? Each brushstroke would demand honesty, and every word would need to resonate with the tumult of their emotions. What if we included our own reflections alongside the artwork? Written pieces that detail our thoughts as we go through this, Mark suggested, his enthusiasm infectious. Sarah paused, marveling at how Alan saw beyond the surface of her idea.
Yes.
We can combine visuals with our internal dialogues. It will be a raw exploration of our fears. His nod of agreement ignited a flame within her. This was more than just an artistic venture. It was a shared odyssey toward emotional clarity. She envisioned evenings spent poring over canvases, their laughter interspersed with moments of tearful honesty, the echoes of their truths encapsulated in vivid colors and poignant words. But before they dove in, they both knew the necessity of confronting their deepest fears. As much as they craved growth, a part of her recoiled at the memories that would surface in the process. Would the act of unearthing their pain and imperfections only deepen their wounds? Or would it become a salve that healed old scars? Mark cleared his throat, altering the rhythm of the moment. What if we wrote down our biggest fears first? The things buried the deepest. It could be cathartic to address them directly before we start. Sarah leaned back, considering his proposition. The thought of articulating her fears on paper felt daunting, but also liberating. With every revelation, she might dissolve the barriers that not only isolated her as an artist, but also shielded her from Mark's full embrace. Okay, she finally agreed, her voice steadying as resolve seeped in. Let us do it. But it can't just be a list. I want to dig deeper. Why do we fear these things? What do they do to us daily? Mark's expression transformed into one of quiet admiration, his gaze unwavering. And we need to be honest, even if it hurts. We can't take these strokes lightly. It's about capturing the truth, right? Exactly, she replied, ignited by determination. Their mutual promise hung between them, thickening the air with unspoken agreements. To do this well, she would have to embrace the discomfort, letting curiosity steer her rather than feared. As they prepared to embark on this journey, the threshold of honesty seemed to shimmer ahead of them. Sarah realized that this dual exploration was not about perfect outcomes. It was a commitment to the unfiltered exploration of identity and integrity. No more facades, just the raw essence of who they were. Yet doubt crept into the corners of her mind. Would their revelations bring them closer, or would they uncover wounds too deep to heal? With a shared glance that spoke volumes, they began writing, the first strokes setting the course for everything to come. Sarah could feel the energy shift, a pulsating rhythm echoing their intentions. Then, in the midst of unraveling her truths, her surroundings felt charged with potential. Just as she was beginning to understand her own heart, a thought pierced through. What if diving into these shadows unearthed something much darker than she anticipated? Would she truly be ready to face it all, not just on the page, but also in her life with Mark? And as the silence stretched, longer than before, her hand hesitated above the page, a single word forming in her mind. What? The journey was laying bare unknown territories, filled with uncertainties she hadn't even begun to explore. Where would this introspection lead them next? In the weeks that followed, Sarah and Mark embarked on an expedition through the intricate tapestry of their emotions. Each session began with a ritual of pen and paper, unearthing insecurities that had long festered beneath the surface. Sarah explored the chaos of her artistic identity, confronting the fear that she would always fall short of expectation. In contrast, Mark faced the specter of inadequacy, terrified that he would bring disappointment upon himself and those he loved if he dared to pursue his dreams. During this time, something remarkable transpired. They unveiled their deepest fears and exchanged them like a currency for understanding, creating a language forged through vulnerability. As they painted, they no longer hid behind their pasts. The vibrant colors on the canvas echoed their laughter and tears, each brushstroke a testament to their growth and shared resilience. The art studio became a sanctuary, a space where chaos transformed into beauty and silence morphed into dialogue. One evening, Sarah stood back to observe their latest creation, a vivid montage of swirling emotions, capturing their struggles and triumphs. She felt a depth of pride flood through her, an affirmation of her own evolution as an artist. "Look at this," she said, gesturing at the layered colors. "It's not just messy, it's alive." The excitement in her voice mirrored the newfound confidence blooming within her. Mark joined her, his eyes glistening with admiration. "Each color represents a step we dared to take, even in fear. This is the essence of us." Their fingertips met on the canvas, creating a momentary union of dreams and acceptance. Then, on a day that felt like a crescendo of their journey, Mark received an unexpected call from his old mentor, an opportunity to lead a community project that aligned with his passion for making an impact. Sarah, caught in the back and forth of her emotions, realized this was where Mark's growing confidence culminated. But instead of feeling threatened by his potential success, a wave of pride surged within her. "Go for it," she encouraged, the words flowing with authority. "You no longer need to question your capabilities. This is your moment to soar." Mark's eyes locked onto hers, vulnerability softened with determination. "You really think I can do this?" "I don't think, I know. You are more than capable. You are a leader, Mark." Validation of their growth enveloped them both, transforming the fear of separation into a tether of unity. Days turned into weeks, and as Mark embraced his new responsibility, Sarah prepared for her first art exhibit. They supported each other not just in actions, but in spirit, reveling in every small victory. Mark had transformed from a man confined by insecurities into a visionary ready to make a difference. Meanwhile, Sarah had found her voice again, each painting a testament to her rebirth as an artist willing to embrace imperfections. On the night of her exhibit, an electric atmosphere buzzed as guests milled around, admiring the bold expressions of her journey. Sarah's heart raced not out of fear, but from an invigorating blend of pride and hope. She had accomplished something profound. Seeing the awe reflected in the faces around her validated her efforts and resilience. "You need to see this one, Sarah," Mark exclaimed, guiding her to a room where one particular painting gleamed with life. As she stood before the canvas, the memories of doubt and hesitation washed over her. "I never thought I'd be here." Mark wrapped his arms around her, grounding her with his presence. "You defied your fears and emerged more authentic than ever. You inspire me." In that moment, Sarah recognized the essence of their transformation. They had conquered not just their individual challenges, but also thickened the bond that tied them together. They were both successful in their respective narratives, not defined by fear, but driven by ambition and love. As the exhibit concluded and applause echoed around them, Sarah felt a solidified confidence settle in her heart. She had uncovered her true self and had done so alongside Mark. Together, they navigated through storms of self-doubt, transforming into the version of themselves they had always aspired to be. They stepped onto the path of their newfound lives, hand in hand. Sarah smiled, knowing that whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, more prepared than ever. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive emotional stories that will fill your heart with inspiration. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and let others discover these powerful narratives. Comment below with your reactions and theories about this. Ending your voice matters. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this uplifting conclusion.